Fast Forward Productions. The women are speaking. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the One Broke Actress podcast, an honest account of actor life plus a few lessons I learned in the process. I am your host, Sam Valentine, and today we are doing something a little bit different. If you're like, Sam, you say that all the time. I do. You know what? I like change. I like to move things around. I don't know. I'm bored. I like to mix things up. Here's the deal. I have talked to a lot of you in my DMs, in emails, in real life in the past 4 to 6 months, and post-strike, the morale hath been low. And trust me, I understand it. You know, we didn't think we knew what this year was going to look like, and it has been even more confusing and confounding than I think we realized it would. I mean, I'm wearing a hat on camera, for God's sakes. Like, what is going to happen next? The little things. That one's for YouTube. I wanted to take April and make it a time to readjust what you need, not just in your actor career, but in your everything career. I do a lot of one-on-one calls with actors, whether they are in the membership or whether they just book a one-off coffee call with me. And a lot of times what we are doing is resetting their goals and structuring their routines to attain things that they actually have control over, because there's not a lot in this business we actually have control over. There's not a lot in life we have control over, but there are a few things. And I think setting your own bar is the gift of having the time to do it. And there is no time like right now in order to do these things. So I'm going to dedicate all of April's episodes to this idea of helping you guys reset. They're going to be short. They're going to be pretty concise. And more or less, they're really going to be about what you need. But because I know you want to listen to me be vulnerable in that process so you can be too, I am going to answer along the way. Here's what we're going to do. Every single week, I'm going to bring you a podcast where I ask a question I want you to take home and work on. I'm going to give you some various things and ways this could look like and how I think it should look, what I think you should consider. And then I'm going to answer my version of that question. I have already also written these out into emails and into my broadcast channel that I think I'm doing on Instagram. So keep an eye out for that. And I want you to be able to access this however you want. So if you want to read it in your email, it's there. If you want to watch it on YouTube, it's there. If you just want to listen to this on the podcast, it's there. It's going to be on Instagram as well. Whatever you need to ingest this content, it is here for you, because I think this is some of the most important work we can do right now. So if you are not into this kind of stuff, if you prefer to just listen to guest episodes, etc., great, carry on. But I really think that you guys will get a lot out of this if you do follow along. I'm basically going to give you the creating of your own goals and sitting with your own thoughts. And I think you can get something out of them depending on how you choose to ingest it. So let's get into it. It goes without saying that 2024 has been a very weird year, especially in the entertainment world. We were told to prep for post-strike life, only for some of us to realize that post-strike life is kind of the same as strike life, but without the community picketing and having Shappy pretzels together on the line every single day. So the goals that you set yourself in January, or the way you pictured this career, might seem like a pipe dream right now. Or maybe you didn't set any goals because you knew you'd be so busy, maybe achieving what you hoped to achieve in 2023 that didn't happen. Either way, I know a lot of you who listen to this and watch this and read this are type A actors, and you feel a little in and amongst the weeds right now. So I want to help, and I need your help too, to be quite honest. So for April, I'm going to spend a weekly email / podcast / YouTube video to slow roll your goal setting into Q2, aka April, May, and June, and perhaps into the rest of the year. And it's going to have some prompts for you to work through. You can decide if you want to do them. Suggestions of how to quote unquote do them include, okay, ready? Here's your take home. I'm going to give you each question, and you can either meditate on it, sit with it, pause the podcast, pause the YouTube, and think. Wild idea. You can write it down and journal or brain dump or doodle about it. You can get your actor friends together and talk to them about it. Maybe send each other a text or a voice note. Or you can respond to my email or Instagram or YouTube comment section with your thoughts, so you feel like there's a back and forth side to this. I may not be able to respond to everyone, but at least you know someone's going to see it. Or you can delete this podcast or delete this email and wait until I send information about self-tapes or something. You do you, whatever you need, you know best. But each week I'm going to give you my thoughts to give you a jumping off point. So this has to be a zero judgment zone. Let's all take back control of the very few things we can and enjoy the ride of the things we can't. So this is going to be very vulnerable. I'm going to answer these questions as we go, you guys, for you. And usually this is something that I would typically do in the Patreon bonus podcasts or the Apple bonus podcasts, but we're going to do them publicly. So if you like this, you know where to get more. So for week 1, here is what I really want you to think about, ponder, meditate, write down, talk to people about. Using the following areas of life, write out what you did for yourself in each area since New Year's Day. No bullshit allowed. You are not allowed to beat yourself up here. You are only counting victories. I don't care how big or how small they are. Nobody has to worry about this but you, so let it all hang out. Nobody needs to read it, write it, listen to it unless you choose to share it. So here are the areas I want you to consider. Number 1, financial. Number 2, career. Number 3, health. Number 4, relationships. And number 5, mindset. And if you live in the world of spirituality, you can have a 6th category, okay? I tend to combine the spiritual thoughts with the mindset because it just works really well for me. So now I'm going to do the vulnerable part, and I'm going to tell you my answers to these questions. I free wrote this out before I recorded this, before I did anything that you would see, and I'm just going to read it straight up for you. No matter how embarrassing or cringy it is, I'm going to tell you all of the great things I think I accomplished this year, and I'm going to reflect on it out loud. Here's my answer. First category, financial. I saved a really good chunk of money in my high yield savings account. And I finally found a budget app that I think I actually like and will use. But hold please, and I'll report on this after testing it out for a few more weeks, if not months. But I think I might have found the answer to my budget question because I'm always questioning myself in that world. And I made a plan to stash a bunch of extra cash to travel to other markets to potentially work in them. And if you're like, what? You're going to work in different markets other than LA? That's insane. I have a whole bonus podcast that I think is already out about this topic, but check the Patreon and Apple bonus podcast if you want more on that side of the world. But those are all great things that I think I did for my financial security. And I'm really proud of that. Number 2, career. Okay, this is where my life gets a little crazy. So I like to divide this up into my separate businesses because I can't think about it all at once. So the first thing, One Broke Actress. Hi. I kicked off YouTube into high gear while balancing the podcast very well. I had a full plan for over 3 months of content, and now I have it into May and June that was executed with my team. And I think they absolutely killed it. So I was able to put out more stuff than I think I have in a long while and not feel burnt out in the process, which was really great. For my company, Fast Forward Productions, some of you might not know this, but I make majority of my income from actually my production company. So that's a victory in and of itself. I should talk about it more. Hi guys, did you know that Fast Forward Productions, the women are speaking, is me? That's me. That's my voice. That's my company. And we employ 4 actors, and it's been rather successful. So we launched our new website with our new branding, and I made it and put it all together with the help of my business coach and mentor and advisor, Ashley Pollard, and she co-owns the company, and it worked like, it's beautiful. It's in the show notes if you want to look at it. But I'm really, really proud of everything we're doing over there. And we did a lot in the last 3 months. I also successfully taught Pod Prep School, which is my podcast class to teach people how to start their own podcast, to share their own stories. And I prepped the next round, and I got to watch several podcasters launch their own podcasts from either inside our production company or outside after the Pod Prep School, which was just, it was so dreamy to watch people do stuff that took me forever to get off the ground. And it's just really fun. And we're planning another class in the end of April. And I am just really proud of the work that we're doing inside of that. Meanwhile, the 4 employees of Fast Forward, like I said, who are all actors with their own careers, managed all of our clients like the ballers that they are. And I'm really thrilled with January, February, March for the company was really, really good, actually. In terms of the membership, this is is what I call my third business. The membership spots that we opened sold out in 4.5 hours, which we did not anticipate. And we ended up getting some amazing new people in the group. And I feel like I know so many of them so well. I feel like they're my actor comrades at this point, and they're doing such good work on themselves and their careers. And it's so cool to be a part of that freaking journey, guys. I dropped a journey in here. We also did IRL meetups in New York and Atlanta and LA. And Gabrielle and I taught our headshot class to a big audience of people. So we now are starting to get people who took the headshot class sharing their headshots with us that they took from the class and the feedback they got from photographers and agents on their headshot packages. And like, it's so cool. So we have accomplished a lot inside of TM, and we will be talking more about that soon, but it's ready for another class of people soon. And I can't wait to expand the members while also taking care of the ones we have. And I just love that group of people, and it's an honor to be in their actor life. And lastly, under the career bucket for acting, I prepped my package to send out, including my updated headshots that I just took, a recent self-tape, and my updated reel. If you want to see more on my updated reel and package, there's a bonus podcast with Gabrielle as I had her live go through my package and give me feedback. And I put myself out there to meet with agents in Atlanta and Chicago. And it did not go quite like we expected, but I am learning a lot in the process that I am eventually going to get to share with you. And I navigated and am navigating the quiet of this weird, slow, but weird season by reading scripts, by watching my friends' content, by watching the relevant movies I have on my film school list of all the films I should be watching, by strategically choosing my training, like the firearms training I did in January that I'm actually going to do more of at the very end of March before April. So that technically counts as things we did great in Q1. And I got footage of that so we can go on the casting sites. And I'm learning a skill that I think will be really useful because, like it or not, powerful women in TV and film often know how to carry guns in this day and age. So I would like to be a powerful woman in TV and film. So I would like to know how to successfully carry a gun. And I recorded a 3-week voiceover job without having a voiceover agent right now. And I got new commercial headshots, and I talked with my commercial agent about targeting casting directors for this year. And one of them she got me in the room for within 72 hours of us having that conversation. So although it feels like I haven't really done any acting, when I say that list out loud, it's like, holy shit. Like there was a lot of stuff in that. It might not have equaled instant results, but when I look back at those 3 months, it's like, oh, that was a lot. That was a hell of a lot. And saying it out loud really drives that point home. So that's the career category. And I realize it's dense for me and it might not be as dense for other people because you might have less things going on. But I actually don't know if that's true because a lot of you have side hustles and things like that. Listen, I'm not an acting coach. I don't intend to be one, but something I have always enjoyed helping actors with is figuring out their work-life balance, because I don't actually believe balance exists. That's my 2 cents. And helping to craft their schedule and use their time wisely. I like doing this so much, in fact, that I built an entire course around it called What to Do When You're Not Working. This is the class that I wish I would have had when I was much younger in this career, and or maybe a couple of years ago when I was not working. This is the time between audition spurts, between bookings, between jobs, where you're not really sure what to do next. And you feel like, did I have mojo and lose it? Am I not on the right track? What am I doing with my time? I built this class specifically for myself when I was a younger actor. And for the month of April, because we are so focused on sharing content and really doing things around building out your own life and making your own life choices that work for you, I wanted to give you a discount on the class. The class is evergreen, meaning you can get it online and take it on your own time. And it is split up into 4 separate sections: acceptance and appreciation, using your time wisely, homework, and reflect, rinse, and repeat. Each is created to be accessible at any point in your career and give you tangible homework as well as mindset lessons to make downtime not only tolerable, but actually enjoyable and useful. Like I said, it's evergreen, so you can do it on your own schedule. It's all available online, so you can binge the class all at once, or you can slowly absorb it over time, which is my preference personally. And it comes with the What to Do When You're Not Working workbook, which is a 36-page follow-along workbook with takeaways and tips to implement your own goal setting, scheduling, and nail down exactly how you want to feel and what you want to do with your time. For the month of April, please, please, please do not buy this class without using this code. Use the code APRIL50 to save $50 off the class. There is 2 separate payments method. You can pay all at once or you can split into 2, whatever you need for your finances. But APRIL50 will save you $50 off the course. Do not buy it without the discount code. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. Okay, the health category. I got back onto the horse of strength training and I had a great series of lifting focused training weeks. And alongside that, I have lived for months at a time of not needing to count calories or macros to feel very fit and strong and happy inside of my body. I baked new bread and desserts, and I went on a 2-week trip to Kentucky and Atlanta, and then I brought Gabrielle back with me to LA for 3 weeks of being fully out of my schedule, and yet I still managed to enjoy dinners out, days without workouts, and many happy down moments along with the up moments. As someone who struggled my whole life with body image and associating healthy eating with moral goodness, the ability for my health to exist in that is pretty huge. And that's only been 3 months of time. So I think that's pretty epic. I also met with a hypnotherapist to work on my flying anxiety, and it got me back into meditation, which was just a joyful side effect. Do we want to know more about the hypnotherapist? You can comment on the YouTube if that's something you guys want to talk about. I also spent a lot of time sitting outside without a book or phone or my iPad and just watching my dogs sleep in the sun, which would last approximately 7 minutes until they found something to bark at. But those 7 minutes were really good. And although that might not be considered health in someone else's eyes, that's what I consider health victories in my eyes. I told you guys, we're counting every small victory here. This is how detailed we're getting. Number 4, relationships. I went on several dates with my husband, Caleb, which is really hard to do when we just moved into a house that we're renting, by the way. Love you guys for thinking I bought a house. Very sweet, very kind. Not in this market, not in Los Angeles. So being able to live in our new house and still go on dates is really good for us because we get to be kind of cozy homebodies together. Speaking of cozy homebodies, we also found a new, really fun, joyful weekend tradition of sitting on the couch together on Sunday mornings, drinking coffee and kind of just doing our own thing and playing the New York Times Connections puzzle together. It's so cheesy, you guys. It's so cheesy, but it really brings me a lot of joy because, you know, I was a waitress for a long time. I worked a lot of brunch shifts. I worked a lot of weekends, and to be able to sit on my couch on Sundays very casually and just share time with my husband, that's pretty awesome in terms of relationship. I also shared the New York Times Connection game with my mom, and I played with her and my dad sometimes. And speaking of that, I visited my family and I spent an extra week with my parents, who both recorded a podcast episode for you. So get ready for that because it's one of the best podcasts I think I've ever done. I'm pretty biased, but it's great. And while I've had less social time in the past 3 months due to work and travel, I made a point to have face-to-face coffee with my best friend in LA almost every single weekend, which is huge for us because she lives in Silver Lake and I live in West Hollywood. And those of you who are like, LA, what do you mean? Like, it's far. It's geographically undesirable to have friends in different sections of LA. You have to work. So we have done a very good job of seeing each other and staying in contact, even if it's just for a couple hours every single weekend. And I got to have Gabrielle here with me in LA for a full week. And before that, a full week in Atlanta. So I got to have my other best friend with me for 2 straight weeks, who I've only met twice in real life. It sounds insane when you say it out loud. That's a lot in terms of relationships. That's family, friends, and loved ones. And I'm pretty thrilled about that. Okay, number 5, to round it out, mindset. The fact that I can write all of this out and say it out loud to you on a public podcast in which anyone can judge me or hate on me or love it or have an opinion about it, just freely share that. This is wildly good for my brain because I'm saying the quiet part out loud, when we hit these type of periods, we often want to hide and just lean into the crowd and say like, times are hard and it's so hard. Yeah, it's hard. But also I've just mined 20 minutes worth of good out of talking about the victories I've had in just a 3-month time span. This is so good for my mindset in this career. And the health stuff I talked about in terms of being able to travel and eat and not be worried that my body is the reason I'm not auditioning, or it's the thing that's holding me back, or I'm doing everything wrong. Like, that's huge for my brain. I'm also really proud of the new catchphrase that has come up from One Broke Actress over the past year, which is don't quit today. Okay, so that was a lot. I had no idea that I did all of this. And there is a chance that you guys are like, yeah, of course you did, because some of you watch my life from a bird's eye view because I share it on things like social media. But taking the time to write that out and now say it to you without judgment for myself, knowing full well at least one person listening to this or reading this is going to hate on me for God knows what reason, this really hits me. So often I beat myself up for not doing focused work or prioritizing or getting enough done that I'm supposed to be doing. But clearly, if I can just say all of that out loud about the last 3 months, things are great, even without a single, and I am going to say this out loud because I can't believe I'm going to say it out loud, but it's too late. I already started the sentence and I'm not going to cut it. I just got my first theatrical audition of the year. My first TV film audition just came in while I started recording this podcast. That means I was able to have a ridiculously happy, healthy, and productive good 3 months without a single theatrical audition, of which I often use to define my success in my day-to-day life. Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but like, it's kind of embarrassing, but also really empowering to be able to tell you, like, this is not always what we think it looks like. And I don't know what's going to happen next, but look at all this. That's 20 minutes worth of content that I just did about how great and glorious stuff is. And the auditions just get to be icing on the cake, let alone a booking. I'm okay with that mindset. I'm okay with this place for right now. And I only think it's going to get better from here, whether that means more auditions or not. Look at all of the great stuff I'm able to talk to you about. So if you take anything away from this week, it's that you need to do this reflection. It is going to power your next choices. I just did it sitting in a coffee shop on my little iPad, and I feel like a goddamn rock star. And nothing has changed except I spent $4 on a decent cup of coffee. So you guys decide what you want to do with this information. I strongly believe that you should do this exercise because it just changed my mindset for the rest of my day. And there is something energetic about saying your victories out loud that brings in more of them. I don't know about manifestation and like The Secret and all that stuff, but I can tell you that I strongly believe that this is true, and I've yet to get evidence of the contrary. So if you're like, wow, Sam, you just talked a lot, I already forgot the question. Your question for this week is, using the following areas of life, write out what you did for yourself in each area: financial, career, health, relationships, mindset, and if you want to add in the spiritual realm, that'll do. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm very interested to hear how you guys end up taking these April podcasts. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast, to the YouTube, to the Instagram, to the email. But this is going out every which way, so however you want to take it, please take it. Just leave a little review wherever you go. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will talk to you next week.